I told you the vacation was booked for all of us, I said. Oops, we forgot you had kids, my fiancée replied from the resort pool. So I clicked Remove Cabin Access and filed for full refunds on every booking. 20 minutes later, my fiancé yelled, "What did you do?" I replied. I told you the vacation was booked for all of us, I said. On my screen, Camille lifted her sunglasses and looked annoyed that I had interrupted her perfect afternoon. She was waist deep in a turquoise resort pool, one hand wrapped around a glass with a slice of lime on the rim. Behind her, I could see her mother under a white umbrella, her sister Nadine stretched across a lounge chair, and her father talking to a waiter like he owned the mountain. Then Camille gave me a little smile, the same one she used when she wanted to sound light while saying something ugly, and replied, "Oops, we forgot you had kids." She laughed. That was the part that changed everything. Not the words, the laughter. My daughter Iris was at the kitchen table drawing foxes. My son Jude was on the floor trying to tape cardboard wings onto a toy dinosaur. They were close enough to hear the tone, not the sentence. Close enough for me to know I would remember that moment for the rest of my life. My name is Theophilus Mercer. I teach philosophy at a college, ethics mostly. I spend my days explaining dignity, responsibility, personhood, and the difference between loving someone and merely using them. Then I come home, pack lunches, check spelling homework, wash small socks, and pray my children do not notice every way the world keeps trying to make them feel like leftovers. I had been a widower for 4 years when I met Camille. My wife, Amelia, died after a surgery that was supposed to be routine. That kind of death does something strange to time. For months afterward, I lived in 15-minute blocks. Breakfast, school drop-off, email, laundry, snack, bedtime. Grief was too big to hold. So I held routines instead. I learned how to braid hair from internet videos. I learned which cereal made Jude break out in hives. I learned that Iris only slept if the hallway light stayed on a little. Then Camille arrived in that life like someone entering a quiet room and deciding it needed music. She was warm, confident, polished. She made eye contact like a skill. She knew how to charm faculty wives, waiters, children, and anxious men in sensible shoes. The first time she met Iris, she crouched down and asked whether foxes had moral obligations. Iris laughed so hard apple juice came out of her nose. I remember thinking, maybe we're allowed another beginning. That was my first mistake. Thinking that someone who can perform tenderness understands responsibility. When Camille suggested a family vacation before the wedding, I believed her. A mountain resort in British Columbia. Cabins, lake, trail rides, campfires. She said it would be good for all of us before marriage made everything official. She called it a reset. A blended family week, a chance for my children to bond with her side of the family. I handled the bookings because I always handled details. Bigger cabin because there were children. Meal plan because Jude got cranky when meals drifted. Ground floor request because Iris sleepwalked sometimes when she was overtired. Deposits on my card because Camille's money was tight until bonus season. Her mother wanted the nicer view. Nadine wanted spa credits. Somebody wanted horseback riding. Somebody wanted the welcome basket upgraded. I paid, adjusted, confirmed, and sent the finalized itinerary to everyone. And then, 2 days before departure, Camille called and said maybe it would be easier if I came later with the kids after the adults settled in. The adults. I remember that phrase landing somewhere deep and sour inside me. We are the adults, I said. You know what I mean. I did. I just didn't want to admit it yet. That had become my pattern with her, seeing clearly and delaying the conclusion. Camille's family had been treating my children like tolerated interruptions for months, and I kept trying to interpret it as awkwardness instead of contempt. They loved me in public at first. I was steady, thoughtful, the kind of man nobody makes anymore. What they really meant was useful. I hosted holidays because my house was larger. I carried boxes, fixed Wi-Fi, picked up prescriptions. Edited Nadine's graduate school essays, drove Camille's mother to appointments, and once spent an entire Saturday assembling patio furniture while her father complained about the quality of the screws and never once touched a screwdriver. Money began slipping through my fingers in the same way, Can you cover the florist and I'll pay you Friday? The car repair hit at a bad time. My mother says the rehearsal dinner can't look cheap. I hate asking, babe, but can you put this on your card? I paid because weddings are expensive, because relationships go through uneven seasons, because I had spent years being the one who simply handled things. Competence is dangerous in love. The wrong people mistake it for permission. Then there were the jokes. Nadine posted blended family chaos videos online. Tiny clips of my children in vulnerable moments. Jude crying because someone took his toy. Iris turning away from a phone camera after being filmed too long. Captions floated over them. When you date a philosopher with bonus kids. I asked Camille to tell her sister to stop posting my children. Camille cried. Not because she understood, because any boundary felt like rejection to her. You always make me choose between you and my family, she said. No, I thought. I ask you not to let your family turn my children into content. The fact that you hear that as a difficult choice should terrify me. It did. Just not enough. 6 weeks before the vacation, one of my colleagues asked quietly whether everything was all right at home. When I asked why, he said Camille had mentioned I was under pressure and had episodes sometimes. Episodes. That was how she had started talking about me. Never openly unstable. Never anything clean enough to challenge directly. Just vague little stains, placed carefully on my reputation. Intense. Overwhelmed. Still grieving. Too attached to guilt. So devoted to the children that he sometimes loses perspective. That was her genius. She didn't lie in ways that could be pinned down. She fogged. When I confronted her, she said, I was trying to get support. By implying to my colleagues that I'm unstable, you twist everything. Maybe I did. I twisted warning signs into complications, contempt into misunderstanding, and humiliation into something I still called salvageable. Then came the pool call. Camille was still looking at me through the screen like I was ruining the day. We just thought it would be easier this way, she said. For whom? For everyone. For everyone, I repeated. You booked a family vacation and left my children behind. She gave a small shrug. Oops, we forgot you had kids. Something inside me went perfectly still. The resort app was already open on my phone because I had been checking check-in details all morning. My account still controlled the cabin access, activity package, meal authorization, and several linked bookings. I started canceling while Camille was still talking. Premium cabin access revoked. Meal plan removed. Activity bundle canceled. Parking authorization gone. Then I opened the travel insurance page and filed for full refunds on every booking attached to my card or booked under my account. I have to go, I said. Theo, don't be dramatic. I'm not. Then I ended the call. 20 minutes later, she called screaming. What did you do? I put the phone on speaker and set it on the counter. Iris had stopped drawing. Jude was staring at me openly now. What are you talking about? I asked. Our cabin access is gone. They downgraded the room. Dad's lunch got charged because the meal package disappeared. Theo, what did you do? I looked at my children. I remembered I had kids, I said. There was a shocked silence. Then Camille hissed. Undo it. No, you stranded us here, at a luxury resort with roads, staff, and phones. You humiliated me. No, I said. You humiliated yourself. You just expected me to finance it. Then I hung up. By evening, I was the villain in 3 group chats I had never been meant to see. Camille's cousin Marianne sent me screenshots. And Diane, he's weaponizing the kids again. Mother, those children were always going to be a problem. Father, I told you not to marry a man with baggage. Camel, he couldn't handle me needing 1 week. 1 week. As if my children were noise she had generously tolerated until her own comfort mattered more. Marianne followed the screenshots with one message. I'm sorry. This has been building for months. She was right. That night, after Iris and Jude were asleep, I went into my study, pulled out the black hard drive where I kept family backups, and created a new folder called Camel. Receipts, transfers, screenshots, deleted videos, group chat exports, resort confirmations. Everything went in. Then I remembered the old laptop. Camille sometimes borrowed it when she worked for my house. Weeks earlier, she had signed into a shared family cloud folder and, apparently, never logged out. I opened it. At first, it was ordinary nonsense. Receipts, selfies, shopping lists, vacation photos. Then I found a notes folder and a group of voice memos. One memo was titled, Pool Plan. I pressed play. Nadine said, "You cannot seriously bring his kids. This is supposed to be relaxing." Camille answered, "I know." Her mother said, "Then don't. Tell him something changed." Camille laughed. "He'll sulk for a day and then get over it." Nadine asked whether I could dump the kids on Amelia's parents. Camille said, "They hate me," her mother replied. Smart people. They all laughed. Then Camille, in a voice flatter than any she had ever used with me, said, "I'm not spending my last free vacation before the wedding dealing with grief kids." I stopped the audio. The room felt smaller. Grief kids. Not Iris. Not Jude. Not children. Grief kids. As if they were residue from another woman's life. As if loving them was some burden she had heroically performed. I copied the file, then every other file in the folder. There was more. Much more. A note titled, Wedding Boundaries. Dead wife photos out of common areas before ceremony. Kids with sitter after dinner. Prenup must protect family assets from his obligations boarding school conversation. Next year? His obligations. My children. Another draft message described me as safe but trainable. I sat there until after midnight building the argument I should have accepted months earlier. She did not want my life. She wanted a version of me with the hard parts removed. Around 12:30, Marianne called. They scheduled a slideshow for tomorrow, she said. Nadine made one. It paints Camille as the victim of emotional abuse. The refund thing is supposed to be proof you're unstable. Do you have it? Yes. Send everything. She did. The next morning, I packed lunches, tied shoelaces, checked spelling homework, and took my children to school exactly as usual. Routine is mercy when your inner life is on fire. Then I canceled office hours, shut my office door, and spent 6 straight hours building a dossier. Dates, messages, payment trails, audio transcript. Side-by-side comparisons between public claims and private facts. I organized it the way I teach argument. Claim, evidence, contradiction, conclusion. At 4:03 p.m., Nadine's slideshow went live. Soft piano music, black and white filter. Camille looking shattered near a hotel wall. Then text. Some men use children as weapons. Some men punish women for needing space. Some men call control love. My name wasn't listed, but enough details were there. People knew. Comments filled fast. So brave. Protect your peace. Single dads can be manipulative too. I let it sit for 17 minutes. Then I posted my response. No music, no filters. Just me in my office. My name is Theophilus Mercer, I began. False claims are currently being circulated implying that I emotionally abused my fiancée during a vacation dispute. I'm responding because silence is often mistaken for guilt. Then, I showed the booking confirmations with my children's names, the receipts attached to my accounts, the messages where plans changed, the screen recording of the pool call, and then I played the audio. I'm not spending my last free vacation before the wedding dealing with grief kids. I let the silence afterwards stay. Then I said, for the past 18 months, I have provided financial support, labor, and good faith under the belief that my children were welcome in a future family. The records below show a different private reality. I showed the bullet points about removing Amelia's photos, the chat jokes, the edited family videos, the unpaid reimbursements. I blurred bank details. I blurred my children's faces. I left names visible. Then I ended it. No one is entitled to me or to my children. No one is entitled to our money, our labor, or our grief. This engagement is over. Any further contact should go through counsel. I posted the archive link and turned off comments on my own page. Everything detonated. Camille called 14 times in the first half hour. Her father called 6. My dean texted that he had seen everything, and I should take whatever time I needed. Then a man named Ethan Duval commented under a mirrored copy of Nadine's slideshow. I dated her. She edits messages and twists stories. He's telling the truth. Within an hour, he had emailed me screenshots of Nadine doing the same thing to him. Cropped texts, altered captions, fake narratives. Camille posted an apology that said sorry without admitting anything. Her mother posted a long Facebook statement about private family pain, which lasted 30 minutes before strangers started quoting grief kits under it. Nadine deleted 2 accounts and locked the third. At 12:31 that night, my doorbell camera lit up. Camille stood on my porch, hair damp, face pale, still wearing the resort cover-up. I did not open the door. "Theo, please." I stood behind the wood and asked, "What do you want? You destroyed me." "No," I said. "I documented you." She started crying. Real crying, I think. But real tears do not make falsehood less false. I said something ugly. "You built a system. That's not fair. How did you mean grief kids?" Silence. Then she whispered, "You always chose them over us." I nearly laughed. "Yes," I said. "That is what a father does." A car door slammed in the driveway. Her father was here. Nadine too, phone in hand, already filming. "Come out here, like a man," her father shouted. "No, you slandered my family. With your own recordings? I'll sue you." "For what?" He had no answer. Nadine shouted, "You're unstable. Everyone knows it." I turned on full audio recording on the porch system and said, "Keep talking." The camera records sound. Silence dropped so fast, it was almost satisfying. Then Jude's sleepy voice came from upstairs. "Dad?" That was the real end. Not the shouting outside. My son's voice inside. I said through the door, "Camille, I am not marrying you. Do not contact my children again. Your belongings will be boxed and stored tomorrow. Any further harassment goes to my attorney. This is over." Then I went upstairs to my child while chaos stayed outside where it belonged. The week after that was administrative cruelty. A lawyer letter threatened defamation. My attorney answered with transcripts and originals. That killed it. An email went to my dean suggesting I had exposed private financial records. He replied that my own records were in fact mine. Camille sent one long message blaming pressure, her mother, wedding stress, my grief, my intensity, and finally herself in the vaguest terms possible. In paragraph 4, she asked whether we could handle the rest quietly now, for the sake of the children. I answered with one sentence: "Do not contact me again except through counsel." Then I changed my number. I boxed her belongings carefully, labeled everything, paid for 3 months of storage so nobody could call me cruel, canceled the venue hold, canceled the florist, canceled the rentals, donated unopened wedding decorations, and took one custom brass reception sign back to the metalworker. It had originally read Mercer and Val. I had it changed to Mercer House Private. It hangs in my mudroom now. People imagine leaving feels victorious. It doesn't. Mostly it feels quiet. It feels like standing in a room after a machine finally stops and realizing how loud it had been for months. I grieved the relationship. I grieved my own stupidity. I grieved the humiliating fact that part of me had known and kept negotiating with reality anyway. But life improved immediately in practical ways. My money stopped disappearing into somebody else's urgency. My house became calm again. No more family chat full of disguised insults. No more videos of my children. No more little comments about female structure or baggage or episodes. At work, something changed in me too. I stopped teaching ethics like it was a set of elegant problems and started teaching it like a man who knew exactly what it means to be used as a means to someone else's comfort. A colleague and I built a continuing education seminar on dignity, digital humiliation, and family coercion. Enrollment was ridiculous. Apparently, many adults are waiting for someone to tell them that being related to a person does not give them the right to humiliate you. Camille's family tried to recover their image. Her mother mailed a handwritten note saying families should forgive. I returned it unopened. Nadine made one last video about narcissistic intellectual men. The comments filled with screenshots and audio transcripts. She deleted it within hours. A mutual friend later told me Camille wanted to apologize properly, as adults. I declined. Adults are not people who put on a calm voice after being caught. Adults are people who can bear the truth about themselves without demanding comfort from the person they harmed. My children adjusted faster than I did. One evening, Iris asked, "Did Camille not like us? Or did she just not like that you loved us most?" I set down my coffee and looked at her. "I think," I said carefully, "she liked the idea of a life with me more than the real life that included us." Iris nodded once. "That's selfish." "Yes," I said. "It is. Jude's version was simpler. So she's not coming anymore?" "No." "Okay. Can we still go on vacation?" "Yes." "Somewhere with pancakes?" I laughed. "Absolutely." So we did. Not to a mountain resort, not to anything fancy. We rented a small cabin on the Oregon coast. Rain on the windows, board games on the table, pancakes every morning. Iris collected shells and announced each one had legal rights. Jude fell asleep in my sweatshirt with syrup on his cheek. No one forgot we existed. That, I learned, is its own kind of luxury. A year has passed now. I still teach philosophy, still over-prepare lectures, still lose my glasses while they are on my face, still burn one side of grilled cheese when I answer emails at the stove. I am not perfect. I stayed too long. I excused too much. I let the desire to be chosen blur what was being chosen in me. But I am no one's instrument now. Not a wallet with a wedding ring. Not a widower grateful for scraps. Not a babysitter in dress shoes. Not the calm man in the background paying for the room where other people erase him. I changed my number. Changed the locks. Updated my will. Put the house into a trust for Iris and Jude, so no future fiancé, husband, in-law, or smiling opportunist ever gets to treat their home as negotiable. On the 1-year anniversary of the breakup, I polished the brass sign in the mudroom because rain had spotted the edges. Mercer House, Private. Below it, Iris had taped a note in purple marker. No mean people. I left it there. Students sometimes ask whether forgiveness is necessary for healing. I tell them no. Understanding can help. Clarity usually does. Distance saves lives. But forgiveness is not rent you owe to those who used your love as a hallway into your home. Here is what I know now. I was not weak because I tried. I was not stupid because I loved in good faith. I was not cruel because I stopped funding cruelty. Love that asks you to hide your children is not love. A family that laughs while erasing you is not family. And when someone smiles from a resort pool and says they forgot you had kids, believe the truth hidden inside the lie. They remembered. They just hoped you would accept being less. I did for too long. Then I removed the access. Then I filed the refunds. Then I told the truth. And after that, my life did not become perfect. It became honest. My name is Theophilus Mercer. I teach philosophy at a college. I pack lunches at night. I make pancakes on rainy mornings. I keep receipts. I know how contempt hides inside jokes. I know how quickly people reveal themselves when money, comfort, and children are involved. And nobody, no fiancé, no family, no polished stranger with a rehearsed smile, gets to forget that I am a father first. Not ever again.